Welcome to the Cherith podcast. I am Evelyn Ngatia, your host. I am a born-again believer in Jesus Christ, a child of God, also a learning consultant focusing on secure leadership. This podcast has 3 pillars: faith, mental health, and secure leadership. I welcome you. Let's learn, let's grow, let's heal together. Let's walk together on this journey to secure leadership. Happy learning. Welcome to the Cherith podcast. My name is Evelyn Ngatia, and I am your host. Today, I'm excited to host Gathoni Ndung'u, a counseling psychologist. And today, we'll be talking about narcissism deep dive, where the Bible meets psychology. Before we start, a bit of housekeeping. Remember to subscribe, like, and share. If you like the content, please subscribe, share with your friends, share on your social media platforms, share on your WhatsApp platforms, and wherever. If you have a friend who you think this will help them, please share. Feel free to share with them. Also, if you have any questions or issues that you'd like addressed, feel free to comment or send an email or whichever way that you want to reach out to make, and I'd be happy to address the topics that you would be interested in. So, have you ever had a friend from hell? That is a very interesting, provocative, bold title of the book authored by none other than my guest today, Gathoni Ndung'u. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, Evelyn. And first, I'll start by saying, how are you, viewers? I'm happy to be with you. And thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I remember when I first heard about you, because this is a topic I'm very interested in, narcissism. And you were speaking at a platform in one of the Rotary clubs, which I joined. And you're talking about overcoming narcissism or narcissistic abuse. And it wasn't my club, but I joined because I thought that was, I was very happy to have someone talk about that topic. And then later I got a hold of your book, interestingly, and I had not connected the two. But when I connected the two, I'm like, wow, I must bring you onto this show because you're talking about something that I'm so passionate about, creating awareness about. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Friends from Hell, this is the book. Guys, if you don't have a copy, this is what we'll be discussing, a lot of it. So tell us about Friends from Hell. What is it about, first of all? What is the book about, and what inspired you to write it?
Thank you. Now, Friends from Hell, it's a novel, and also it talks about mental health. So this book is inspired by the fact that most of the books we read, they are Western. And when you want to read or refer somebody to read a book, sometimes they're not able to connect with it because the contents, they are very Westernized. So this book, I endeavored to Africanize the experiences and Kenyanize. And in most of the contents, I've even used examples from Kenyan contexts so that the reader can connect and they can know narcissism is real and it doesn't know any boundaries. It is all over the world, Kenya included. Yes.
And I like what you've said, because that was one of the reasons why I actually bought your book. Was I'd read books about narcissism, but most of them were, from out there. So I was so pleasantly surprised to find a local author who's gone in-depth into narcissism. Even in your book, you've really touched and gone in-depth about the strategies, how do you heal and all that. So I totally agree with that. Now, diving deeper into your book, there's a chapter you talk about the biblical perspective of narcissism.
Yes.
In that chapter, you talk about narcissistic pastors and the chaos they create in church.
Yes.
What is it that you have observed, or what did you observe that made you write this chapter?
Thank you. What there is that when we talk about narcissism, people only relate to ordinary people. So they leave out leadership, they leave clergymen, and they even leave out professionals. But narcissism cuts across. It does not spare anyone. So sometimes the higher you go, the more the narcissism is. And from research, it shows that people at higher level, because of the powers they have, they tend to abuse the power and they become more narcissistic. They don't care. They are not accountable to anybody. And you see, even in church, the pastors, the clergymen, they are leaders.
Yeah.
And sometimes people don't hold them to account. So sometimes they might overstep. And when they keep on doing something and nobody's asking them, holding them to account, narcissism just sets in so naturally. Yes. And counting that in Kenyan, we are mostly Christians.
Yeah.
And even when it comes to decision making, most Kenyans listen to the clergymen. So if they're given advice that is not coherent, they'll just take it in. And sometimes people make wrong decision because the pastor said so.
Right.
So the earlier you know, the better, so that you know what to take in and what not to take in. What is biblically correct and what is not biblical. Because even pastors are human beings, they can error.
I want to touch on what you've said. Doing things because the pastor said so. Help us unpack that a little bit. How do you find yourself in such a situation where the pastor said so, so I must do it? What is lacking there for you to make your own decisions?
Yeah, in counseling, psychology, we talk about personal growth and development. Even Bible talks about personal growth and development. But most of the people is that they are not aware of that. So we just live life. But for you to grow, you have to develop yourself. And when you develop yourself, you have to know yourself first. And when I say knowing, it's not that one of you just know yourself, but you are Evelyn. Yeah, you have to know genetically, where do you come from? Yeah, in terms of proneness to ailments and diseases, your environment. So it is like SWOT analysis about yourself, but in a deeper sense. Some people even pay mentors to help them just to discover themselves. Some people go to counseling psychologists so that they can understand themselves so deeply.
Yeah.
And I can say that is worth, because some of the people who fall prey to a wayward pastor or clergyman or an imam, most of them, they are ignorant. They don't know. So they follow these people blindly because they don't know. You saw about Shakahola.
Yes.
And you have known about it. Was it 360? Or which one was it? Yeah, pastors have come with verses and they tell people to send money. And because they don't know about Bible, or the Bible they know is from what they have heard from a certain pastor.
Yeah.
So they just act accordingly because they don't know what the Bible is teaching about. So people tend to be gullible. So if you want to reduce the chances of you being lied to or being manipulated, you have to endeavor first, self-awareness, two, reading the Bible so that you get the information yourself. And also enrolling in, those even Bible studies and all that. So you know better. Yes.
And so if you're in such an environment or a culture where, because sometimes you find the pastor or the clergyman may be narcissistic, but then the culture permeates. So it becomes not just that leader, but it also becomes like a culture within the church where this is what is the right way of behaving. So if you find yourself there, how would you know that your pastor is narcissistic? What are those telltale signs?
The
Red flags.
telltale signs is that a church can be a church, mainstream church, but they have a cult within the church. So some of the tactics that people use, not only clergymen, is that they start isolating their members from other people who would open up their eyes. So they will restrict them from even visiting other branches. They say that this is where God is. I know better. I'm the person to pastor to you, minister to you. So they limit the contact between this group and the other groups.
Right.
That is where they do. And they start going to some verses, repetition, so that they brainwash their people to believe that is what ought to happen. So they can either go the way of planting the seed, they can either go the way of adoring the pastor. The pastor looks like the person who is next to God, or God incarnate, something like that. So the teachings don't go alongside the main teaching, even within that church. So slowly by slowly, these people, they are rewarded in some way. They get favor, they get recognition, they feel warmth. But this is warmth of manipulation, because everybody wants to feel loved.
Yeah.
So they just use some tactics, praises like that. Have just said the recognition.
Yeah.
Some is still fear. They use fear.
That's
Yes,
a big one.
that
Yeah.
if you do this, it will be against God. So you don't want to be against God. So you do what the pastor is saying. But some people, when they have exposure, they know that this is not right.
Yeah.
But some people will fall prey into it. So it depends with the level of exposure, but also it depends when you are depressed or when you are stressed. Sometimes you don't have that luxury of trying to know what is what. You just follow what is there. You know, the brain is lazy. It already has a lot. So by the time you realize after 1 year, you are like, how did I get into this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially when you are recovering, you're like, I've gotten deep into this. Where was I? So these things are real.
Yeah.
And we can't blame anybody, because sometimes you are susceptible.
Yeah.
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 So when you are down, so your pastor decides they'll be paying rent for you, they'll be taking care of you, and in return, they make sure they give you a certain group that you are supposed to, to make sure that they remain here, they don't go anywhere. Okay? You call them, let us go for at this time. When you go to another group, even if you're in the same denomination, they try to restrict you. You see?
Yeah, yeah.
So they use, there are quite a number of tactics. When they are preaching, they gaslight you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say those people who are going through those other branches.
Like a special dedication.
Yes, something like that. Then you're like, oh my, so let me just remain here so that I remain in good books of the pastor, but just pure manipulation. Because if you're in the same denomination, you are free to go to those other churches.
Yeah.
So long as this is where you have your membership.
Yeah.
But in those kind of places where they're manipulating you, they'll make sure you don't go to any other, even other branches.
And I think you've touched about something very interesting. You know, when you're talking about paying your rent and other things, I was going to ask about cults. And what is it that is so, like, makes people or draws people into a cult? Because there's something that before they start the abuse, there's the love bombing. How does that love bombing look for a cult? You know?
Yeah, we still go to techniques and level of vulnerability. Some people are more susceptible than others.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, if you have childhood wounds and you didn't get affection or love from your caregivers, you are looking for love anywhere. So anything that resembles love, it will be a bait for you. Yeah, you will go there because you want love. And these people will always know. And when they will now shower you, intoxicate you with love that is so addictive that anytime you want to leave, you can't leave because you still want, you remember, and you just stay there. You have never received that kind of love. But remember, these people have studied you and they know you are needy, you are clingy. Yeah, they know you are a candidate for that. So they will even give you a role, and even give you a role like they'll call themselves mother, father, and you become the child. Now that will be fulfilling that need, that love that you never got from your parents. Now you have new parents.
Yeah.
You're getting?
Yeah.
So they're manipulating you in a way, but you don't know. Then there is codependence. There is something I talk about, codependence, and I call it Almacid syndrome. There are people, when they were growing up, they were always the one to serve others. So when you talk about love, they just know they are there to serve others. That is what is love.
Right.
But they don't get anything in reciprocation because it is so uncomfortable. They never knew how to receive love. So they give and give. So when they go to church, they're given assignment. You be this, you be this. Yeah, are you getting?
Yes, they're more than
And
happy
to them, they are
do the
happy to
service.
give
Yes.
because that is what love is to them.
To them, right.
So somebody with a negative motive will capitalize on those people and keep them there, not because they want to know more about God, but these people are there to be used by somebody who is the narcissistic.
I see. So it's like spectrum. Like you can have a normal church, which is not a cult. So they're the same character. Like if you have a narcissistic pastor in a normal church and a narcissistic pastor in a cult, full-blown cult, they're the same characteristics. Is it that one is just extreme form of narcissism?
Yes, I think that on that one, I think you've gotten it right. In some churches, they know that people fall short of goodness of God, and they'll behave in a certain way. So they are able to take charge and try to control people's character, especially the negative.
Yeah.
So in some churches, when they see certain kind of character, they will call you out. Yes? They'll just call you out when you are forming a group of your own, and trying to isolate people. They just call you out because within their doctrine or their denomination, things are not done in that way.
Okay.
So some churches have already taken care of that, but making sure that people will not form a smaller group that will come with a different teaching from the mainstream church.
Right.
But some churches where the head is a couple or one person, there is no accountability. So everybody will be depending on the goodwill of this person. If this person changes and become wrong, too bad for this group. It can change to be a cult.
Yeah.
But some mainstream churches or churches where they follow certain kind of doctrine, there is those checks and balances. But you can't just say that all is cannot happen. It can still happen, but a very, very minimal situations. Yeah.
Okay. So you've touched on accountability. Accountability is very important in a church setup.
Yes.
So that they don't go extreme.
Yes.
So that narcissists or people with that personality disorder are kept in check and people are not suffering from that. So I think that's important takeout. There's one, like when I was reading your book, there's a story. You're such a good storyteller. So there's one story you talked about a pastor who was, what was it? He lured and married a girl from the church. And it was that whole love bombing. And then, he, I think he fled or something. He had no interest in that marriage. He was just after money and all that. And at some point he went bankrupt and the auctioneers came and all that. So I think that's also an important one for not just a normal church goer, but how also maybe a pastor, clergyman can lure single women. And it can happen the other way around, I guess.
Yes,
even for women.
Yeah, it's both ways.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe touch a little bit about that and how to avoid that.
Yes. Just like I was saying, narcissism, just like any other illness or mental disorder, they are universal. So even church, we have a good share of that.
Yeah.
And in church, because we believe in this thing of embracing everybody, being generous to everybody, not judging, narcissists also find their way in church.
Right.
You're getting? So when somebody comes and they look good, you just consider them to be like a brethren. We say like a sister or a brother.
Sister, brother.
Yes,
In
like
Christ.
any other. But this person has already come with an intention, with a motive.
Yes.
So the fact that somebody is a Christian, a brother or a sister, doesn't mean that you are just not cautious. You need to be cautious because if you're not cautious, these people will turn and take advantage of the church, take advantage of the people in church, and they always know who is vulnerable.
Right.
Because we are human beings.
Yeah.
The pastor will be vulnerable. The wife will be vulnerable. The mama choir will be vulnerable. The child. So it's not every time we wake up strong. It's not every time we wake up having everything. So circumstances change.
Yeah.
So today you can protect yourself from a narcissist. But under some other circumstances, you are vulnerable. You will not even know when it is happening. Yes.
And before we shift to another dimension, you find yourself in a cult, you've done your personal development, you've grown, you've realized that this is a narcissistic environment. What does getting out look like, or what is the solution and consequences,
Yeah. So narcissism, just like we said, is within a spectrum. And there is some societies where it's high, some is just average, some places it's low. But there are situations where you cannot maybe move out of that environment. And there's some environments where you can decide to move out.
Right.
Like a place of work, some people can move out. But some people, because of one reason or another, they're not able to move out. So they'll have to adjust within that environment. But those who move out, it doesn't mean even out there they'll not still get that kind of experience.
Right.
So when you can move out, it is well and good. But if you don't change, if you don't acquire certain skills, you'll still go outside there and suffer the same,
Find yourself in the
same situation.
Yeah.
Yes. But when you remain, there are some tactics you need. Yes. One, you don't expose yourself too much.
Right.
Yeah. That everybody you meet, your colleagues, you want to take them home to your place, party. They know names of all your children, of your parents, your friends. Some people even take people to their bedroom. They don't see any problem with that. Some people share very intimate things about their children, about their husbands.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a sure way of getting attacked by this narcissist. When you go back to work, if the narcissist is your boss, they know where to press hard.
Yes.
You say your child is sick. Yeah. Then they make sure that you're not able to attend to the child. They make it hard for you. Yes, they give you duties, frustrating you. So when you are I think we need boundaries. If you're a worker, you need boundaries. Or whoever the person you are, you need boundaries.
Okay.
You have to know yourself. So what are your boundaries? You also don't spill over to other people's boundaries. Boundaries is when things are personal, keep them to yourself.
Yeah.
If with other people's problems, sometimes you don't have to get into them. Then another thing is ability to say no. If somebody gets so close and asking you inappropriate questions, you have a right not to answer. Not every question needs an answer.
Right.
Even silence is an answer. Even N with O is an answer.
Right.
I think in African context, people always think that an answer has to be a yes.
Yes.
Ndio. That is an answer. So if it is a no, it's an offensive.
Yeah.
So people end up saying yes, which is a no, and they end up suffering for it.
Yeah.
Yes. So, in the African context, there is a time you will hear somebody saying no, but they mean yes.
Yes.
So that is also another thing. Then we talked about codependence, that you're only happy when you are helping. So you don't have an identity beyond you helping. So these people have also to learn, and it is also an issue of therapy, that you are okay just the way you are. You don't have to always act for you to be you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just relax.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people with codependency, they overwork, they overdo. Yeah, for recognition, for acceptance, for love. Yeah, but when the scale tilts, people also exploit such kind of people. Yeah.
I like that. I like that. What you're saying is it's not always easy to get out of the environment, as with any relationship. But there's also a way you can stay inside the church and have your boundaries, learn to say no. And you notice that narcissists also target certain people, the one that you're talking about, who are vulnerable, who are susceptible, who have, those codependent issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's a good point you brought out. And as we move along, there's somewhere you talked about, the narcissistic. Now, because today's session, we're talking about the Bible meets psychology.
Yes.
In the Bible, there are narcissistic personalities.
Yes.
Which ones really, and I know you've done work on this, which one stands out to you that you want to help us explore?
Now, in Bible, we have Absalom. If you read about Absalom, you'll be he's quite an interesting character. One, he's very handsome. They describe him as beautiful. Not even handsome. And his skin is flawless from head to toe. No scratch. His hair is mane over hair. You get, huh? And the description is, oh my God, this man is handsome. But despite that, he has a lot of anger in him. And you realize that parenting can bring about narcissism. Because David, as much as he was man of God and he was a king and he was anointed, he was a preoccupied parent. He didn't have much time for his children. And you can see, because Bible is there, you can read it for yourself. When Amnon, the half brother to Absalom, seduced the sister Tamar, and finally he erred on her. I don't want to use the word. When the king David got to know, he did nothing about it. Right. Imagine, he never even called him to reprimand him and tell him what you have done to your sister is wrong. So Absalom, knowing what had been done to the sister, was very bitter. And he stayed with it deep down in himself. And he looked for a time to revenge. He organized it for like 1 year and a half, almost 2. And he looked for people to help him. And those are what we call flying monkeys. And these people have no business in this case, but somehow they are available to help you. We call them flying monkeys. And they help the narcissists to achieve their goal. So he recruited them, and they laid down the plan, and they killed Amnon. And Absalom will continue doing very many funny things because he had no respect for the father. And he was getting a little bit involved even with women, concubines of the father. And he used to try to sway people to consider him as the king and not the father. But eventually there'd be so many things that will happen. And people who live by sword, sometimes they die by sword. Absalom will eventually be unalived by one of the workers of the palace. And of course, David would be very sad and something like that. So when you look in the dynamics of the family, David contributed a lot in bringing up that kind of character. But you see, David also had that eye. He was always looking out there for women. Like and he ends up killing Uriah for the wife, isn't it? Who happens now to be the mother to
Solomon.
So you can see how that is one. You can read more. In fact, there is a lot there. The other one is who? Jezebel. Jezebel, narcissists are entitled. If they want something, they want it.
Right.
Even if they have more, they're insatiable. They will still want more. And they'll go at any length to get what they want. And they're very pragmatic. The end justifies the means. And Jezebel will end up plotting for who to be killed because they wanted the land. You remember?
Naboth vineyard.
Yes. And she felt nothing. She felt nothing about. Another one is Satan. The Satan, the way he's so manipulative. He tells Jesus, if you are the son of God, why don't you jump and are you getting? So
sometimes I think he's even the originator of narcissism.
Yes. So narcissists will keep on trying you to prove yourself. You are Evelyn. Why are you Evelyn?
Yeah.
Why not Eva? Not why? So they will keep on confusing you.
Yeah.
They thrive on confusion.
Confusion.
So Jesus, he's there. Satan is there trying to confuse.
Yeah.
To confuse Jesus. He's there trying to confuse Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
You know, so they thrive in confusion.
Interesting.
And when you do even something in their favor, it does not benefit you. It just benefits them. So narcissism is about control. They always want to be in control. Then we have is it Jacob? Jacob is the one who married who's this person family. Where am I?
Jacob was Rachel and Leah.
Yes.
Are you talking about Laban?
Yeah, I'm talking about Laban. See, Jacob is the one who marries the daughters of Laban.
Yes.
Now, when you look at this relationship, you'll find that there is somebody who is exploiting the other. One, when Jacob goes there, he works for the period of time, and when he finishes, he's given the wrong wife to marry. But instead of even them being merciful and tell him maybe just work for a week, we'll give you the other one.
Yeah.
He works for an equal amount of time to get the other one.
Right.
But Laban will not even give Jacob a break. He does not give him what is his. He keeps on changing the livestock. He keeps on mistreating them. And when he wants to leave that homestead to go and live by himself, despite him marrying his two daughters, Laban is not still satisfied. Will still keep on following them. Are you getting?
Yes.
So the narcissist is like that. Even when they leave the environment, they still keep on monitoring you. Yeah, they're usually not very far. And in some situation, is that the best thing when you can leave them.
Yeah.
Yeah, is the best thing. But it's not always that you can leave the narcissist.
Yeah.
And I think Jacob decided the best thing to deal with Laban was to leave him. And he went away with the two daughters, and they went away to start another life elsewhere. But Laban was not ever grateful.
Yeah.
Yes, he was never grateful because Jacob made him rich and everything. But did it matter to him? No. So they are not appreciative.
Yeah.
Their relationship is transactional.
Right.
Are you there? Are you making their life better? Yeah, it is what they are getting. It's about them. So one of the characteristics we said their grandiosity. They feel they are very important.
Yeah.
You are not equal to them. They feel they are special.
Yeah.
They feel they are deceitful.
Yeah.
They are exploitative. They are envious. They are arrogant. And I think arrogant, that is another one. And I think there are others, but at least they do all those things. But the main, the whole denominator, they want to control you. You can never be equal partners. Yeah, they'll always assume, or they make sure they are ahead of you.
Right.
Yeah.
And before I forget, there's something also you brought out in, I don't know if it was the book that I was reading, the story of Jacob and Laban. It's also important to hear God, because God actually told him, now it's time to leave. There's also that part for, I don't know if you want to talk about that, the part for, where is God in this whole story? In your vuta nikuvute with narcissists,
Yes. And that is why we were talking about being self-aware and personal growth and development. You have to get resources. Even when you're moving from one place to another, you need resources. So Jacob worked very hard, and he was able to accumulate resources whereby he could move both wives and servants from there. True or false?
Yes, true.
So as much as there is God's hand in it, there is always personal growth and development.
Right.
Being self-aware.
Yes.
Because he was so self-aware that he was able to convince the two wives why they had to move out of this home. So if you're not self-aware, there is nowhere you can go. Yes. Because if you're not self-aware, you and the narcissist, you're just tied in the hip.
Yeah.
But when you are self-aware, you can move and establish yourself elsewhere. But remember resources.
Resources. It's very
You
important.
need resources.
So let me ask this $1 million question. Is there hope for narcissists? Can they be healed?
Now, narcissism is funny that the sufferer makes other people suffer. So the people who suffer from narcissistic abuse also go seeking for therapy.
Yeah.
Now, back to the narcissist. Narcissists, sometimes their behavior make them excel in life, because sometimes the environment is our world and society, it is equally narcissistic.
I see.
Are you getting?
Yes, yes.
If I see somebody else with resources, I want to go and get those resources, I go and steal. If I'm a country and I see another country with the resources, I just start saying that country is not good, it is oppressing its people, we have to go and liberate those people. You go there to liberate, but what you want is just power to control. Are you getting?
Resources, yes.
So it's even here, it's issue of resources.
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Yeah, because they are feeding into your energy, they are feeding into your status, they are feeding into your you are getting the
Power and everything.
your
Yeah.
power and everything. So long as they are able to go there, get the resources, and nobody holds them to account for that, is there any problem? They are thriving. So some narcissists know they are narcissistic, but so long as they are benefiting from it, they will not change. But there are narcissists who suffer because of that narcissism. They lose their family members, they lose their wives through divorces, they lose husbands through divorces of separation or something like that. Are you getting? Or they neglect their children and their children don't develop. And they wallow in poverty. So they decide to change so that they can make life better.
Okay.
So it depends. Is narcissism helping you or not helping you? But by the end of the day, somebody must suffer there. Yeah. But even the narcissist on a bad day will suffer the consequence.
Yeah.
Yes.
They usually do.
Yes, they suffer the consequence, especially when you are old and you are not able to do much for yourself.
Yeah.
There is nothing much you'll do. You'll have to pay. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, you've encountered friends from hell, whether it is, or let me not just say, you've encountered narcissists in your personal journey or in your professional journey. How do you handle them, knowing all that you know? Whether they're friends or from the professional side, maybe you're counseling and you realize I'm counseling this person and they're narcissistic. Maybe let's start there.
Yeah.
From the professional
So
side.
narcissism is we said within a spectrum. So there are people who are diagnosed. You can diagnose there. Some people they're just average. And even ordinary people, they have some elements of narcissism. It's only that the pathological level is low.
Right.
So we have to be empathic. You can't just go hating somebody like that. Sometimes you're just sympathetic. They're just people like any other.
Yeah.
I have friends who have been to mental hospitals and they come back. I mean, they're just people. They don't stop being people. They are still people.
Right.
And that is why we are there to create awareness. Yeah? Bring everybody on board.
Yeah.
Even me, I can be going through a bad situation. Instead of being rational, I start acquiring more like narcissistic tendencies. I don't think my friends will run away. They'll just call me out and they say, what's wrong here?
Yeah.
Don't you think you are going overboard? Are you getting?
Yeah.
So we are living real life.
Yeah.
So we cannot behave like we are living in a utopian world. No. Narcissism is there, and that is why we are creating awareness, so that when you are not taking good care of yourself, there is no check and balances. You can become narcissistic to your family,
Right.
and you can do the unthinkable. We have seen lawyers, doctors harming their families.
Yes.
True or false?
It's true.
We have seen politicians looting everything. We have seen pastors doing the same. So sometimes when it comes to narcissism, the denominator is the same. They can cause equal harm. But what we are saying is, when you are aware, it reduces the chances, And also, it protects you when you're unaware.
Yeah.
You are able to circumvent and avoid being a victim.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Great. And I think that has been such a I think we're short of time now, but it's been such an interesting discussion hearing your take and your perspective on your book and narcissism in general and doing this. And the angle that I really like is that biblical aspect. Let's look at the Bible. What does the Bible say? Are there characters that we can learn from, and how can we protect ourselves, even as we go into spiritual spaces, whether they're Christian spaces or whatever other spirituality that there is, we'll always find narcissists because they are a reflection of our society in general.
That's true.
So thank you so much, Gathoni Ndung'u, for helping us unpack doing the deep dive on narcissism and where the Bible meets psychology. Now, lastly, how can people get your books and how can they reach you in case they need some counseling services, etc.?
Yes. Now, I'll say I'm author to this book, Friends from Hell. And also there is another book, Sonko. Now, to start with the Friends from Hell, this book is on narcissistic personality disorder. And it talks on how you can get to know that you have narcissistic personality disorder, how you can seek for help, and also it gives you stories that are more African, that you can relate with them and make it easy for you to understand. This book is available at Nuria Bookshop, and very soon it will be available at Textbook Center. Also, this book is on Sonko. Sonko is about loss and grief. People, when they lose loved ones, sometimes they get into some mental issues or sickness. So it talks very well, and main characters here are adolescents and children, but this is a full family. It has also dogs and cats. So nobody has been left behind. So it is a very interesting book. Also, it's available at Nuria Bookshop, Jumpers Bookshop, and Textbook Center. My number is 0722959518. 0722959518. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been real. Asante sana, Gathoni.
Thank you.
Audience, that's all we had time for today. Remember, subscribe, like, and share. Bye.